Radio, Webster Tarpley reporting tonight from Beirut after having been in Damascus. Here we are, Beirut, Lebanon. We've been in Damascus, Syria, and a bunch of other places. Now, my friend George Mock was telling me about his pessimism. He thinks the U.S. is going to attack Syria, and after that they will attack Iran. But let's look at what there might be countervailing evidence. Back in the springtime, there was every indication the U.S. was going to attack Pakistan. And we had the issuing of that famous Chinese ultimatum, which said, China considers any attack on Pakistan to be an attack on China. So the U.S. does not seem so far to have decided to test that ultimatum. And we found last week, of course, that Pakistan had been nominated by Putin to be a full member of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, and we got Putin back. I think that makes a difference. But Medvedev, obviously, and this is the pathos of Medvedev, that he believed in the reset. He believed that you could have reasonable relations with the United States, and this simply isn't true, because in order to have relations, on any normal footing, you have to have a rational counterparty. You have to have somebody who's not crazy. And this is not what you have, right? When you look at Obama and Madame Clinton, again, look at the Principals Committee, again, the people who really run the United States. Secretary of State Clinton, Secretary of Defense Panetta, Attorney General Holder, the head of the National Security Council, Donilon, and, of course, the great head of the CIA, Petraeus, who brings together the Pentagon and the CIA in a union. And you've noticed that the Republican candidates go down, right? Trump goes down, Bachmann goes down, Perry goes down, and now we've got what's his face over there going down, Kane, right, with his various harassment stories, and Gingrich may be gaining, but Gingrich looks to me like he's going to go down too. And if they all fall down, who's going to take over? And I've been telling you for some couple of years, it's Petraeus. So let's just get a couple of more comments from George Mock. Not you don't have to talk about the U.S., just any other thing. No? Okay. George Mock has basically completed the intelligence picture that he thinks is important. And if he wants to jump in, let me just try finishing up. So I would say, it's been a long year. It's a year ago that Julian Assange put out the WikiLeaks document dump, and we know from Alec Ross of the State Department that this created no problems at all for the U.S. That the State Department was delighted with WikiLeaks because it showed the United States and the State Department in a wonderfully positive light. It was everything good going on there, right? Massive good actions by the United States. So, again, who did that target? It targeted Ben Ali, it targeted Gaddafi, it targeted Mubarak, Berlusconi, who has now gone down. It targeted Karzai of Afghanistan. It targeted Maliki of Iraq. They wanted to get the U.S. puppet candidate in. Alawi targeted Kirchner of Argentina, and so on. So the people who got slammed are all the enemies of the CIA. Italy, I think the Italian case is very interesting because this was, I wouldn't say it's a color revolution, because the purple gang in Italy, the anti-Berlusconi purple people didn't really get that far. What you're seeing around the world is that the camouflage of the CIA people power coup, the color revolution, is getting very, very thin, very, very, very threadbare, and the credibility of this stuff is very poor because of the fact that it's failing. And people in Egypt, for example, they have every reason to conclude that they're worse off. So let me just remind George Mock, anytime you want to jump in, let me know. I would say the stakes of this entire thing, right? The process leading to the nation state goes back 700 years. We talked about this almost a year ago, right? When Henry the Emperor Holy Roman Emperor from Luxembourg, Henry of Luxembourg, came to Milan in 1310 and was met there by Dante. That put the Visconti dynasty into power. That created Milan as the prototype of the modern state, and then Louis XI of France actually put it together. And I know this may sound controversial to some. The modern state is a very significant achievement because it is the best solution that has been found to the problems of maintaining civilization. Right? You want to have a progressive, stable form of government. The modern state gives you that in a way that goes far beyond any previous examples, be it a city-state, an empire, or whatever it is, or a nomad community, or God knows what. We're now at a point, though, where the bankers say that with the banking crisis hitting, that it's important to increase the level, the rate of primitive accumulation, the rate of looting, sacking, pillaging, robbing, exploiting the world economy, because this loot is needed to prop up the banks. And that means that the state, any national government, gets in the way. The nation state is a barrier to this in a way that a mini-state or a micro-state or a public state is not. And they're basically taking dead aim at the modern state in this form. And I think I heard a burst of music. Am I right? Maybe not. Okay, fine. We do have some trouble in the line. Like the telephone connections here to the Eastern Mediterranean, maybe a little bit troubled tonight. Look at just out of filling in some of the stuff of the past week. Look at Italy and Greece. Now, here in Greece we have Papademos. He's from the Boston Federal Reserve. I think he's from the Trilateral Commission. In Italy we have Monti. He's from Goldman Sachs, and he's from the Trilateral Commission also. At the European Central Bank we have Draghi, who is from Goldman Sachs. And these are the technocrats of genocide. They're the people who want to impose savage, brutal austerity so extreme that it begins to take a toll in human lives. And I don't mean a minor toll. This can get to be very, very big. And if you want to join, for example, somebody like Ron Paul saying, I want to destroy the social safety net because it's unconstitutional or it violates the Austrian school or whatever it is, you've got to be ready, dear friends, to answer the question, what is the point of having people die? Genocide against the American people, not a very pretty concept. Bad enough anywhere, God knows, but to do it to your own country, this is really very, very strange stuff. To do it in the name of an ideological abstraction, I think this is really wild. But you can see the attack against the nation state. We have a guy in our delegation. His blog is called Valmy, and he wants to do studies about economic program and stuff. I had some very interesting talks with him, and he says that there's a plan to dismember France, right? To cut France into pieces, to balkanize, to partition, to subdivide France. Right? The British are more than willing to have Scotland become separated and maybe Wales from England. Well, why not? Let's have mini-states, micro-states. I guess maybe it's not fair to say puppet state of the British, but people know that the British created Belgium, right, in the 1830s. Lord Palmerston created it, and that's being cut up, right? So it's not just Sudan, Serbia, and these other places. One very interesting thing we heard from the governor of Homs. We met the governor of the city of Homs, too, and he met us with a delegation of leaders. He had a Greek Orthodox metropolitan, a Greek Catholic Melkite clergyman, and a Syrian church, but again, affiliated towards Rome. And he said, what's being done to Syria is sites-to-go. And sites-to-go is a very big issue in the Middle East. This is how borders were done by two functionaries back in the First World War.